Okay, this video is meat a processed food? Because people have a tendency to say, well, there's processed food, there's plant food, and then there's meat, and grass-fed meat is not a processed food. I would argue that there's often more processing in meat than is readily apparent. For example, cattle be given estrogens because it's a fat storage hormone to make them gain weight faster. Okay, milk in particular is now made from pregnant cows, and during pregnancy, estrogen levels are quite high, so the estrogen levels in the milk are quite high. Processing of milk, like for example, ultra pasteurization, one of the things that does is it breaks up proteins, and that has more free glutamate than in the food, so it'll have more of a neurotoxic, neurostimulant effect. MFG means manufactured free glutamate, which just means that proteins are broken up, like casein, which is very high in glutamate, and the individual amino acids of glutamate are now more free, and that increases the taste of it, but it's not healthy. It has the same effect. The body only cares about glutamate, whether it's MSG or MFG. It's just an increased bolus of glutamate all at once, which can potentially overwhelm the gut's ability to sequester it and lead to increased access of excess glutamate to the brain, which has an excitotoxic effect. It overstimulates neurons. Okay, cattle are often fed and other meat with GMO sprayed corn. It's typically sprayed, for example, with atrazine. Atrazine is very powerful estrogenic. It's the one that turns the male frogs into female frogs. It's also a mitochondrial inhibitor, so that's pretty big toxicity there. The soy is sprayed routinely, GMO soy, with glyphosate. It was originally sort of an antibiotic-like substance. It's also estrogenic. The antibiotic-like component, being antimicrobial, will also contribute to causing leaky gut. It's associated with fatty liver. It also is a brain excitotoxin, as is mitochondrial inhibitors. Okay, brain excitotoxin in the sense that glyphosate stimulates the NMDA receptor. It can substitute for glycine, which is coincident in its detection with the glutamate to activate the NMDA receptor, allowing more calcium into the neuron, which overexcites it. Mitochondrial inhibitors have a similar effect because they prevent the neuron from making ATP. You need ATP, the energy of the cell, to pump the calcium out of the cell. Phosphates are often added to meat, for example, routinely to chicken. They decrease the purge, the fluid seepage from the meat, and they're also a flavorant. And then these phosphates in particular that are added to chicken, they're and some other meats, they're very highly absorbed, nearly 100% absorbed, and they're toxic to the bones in humans. They're toxic to the kidneys. Sodium is routinely added to meat to flavor it, to get you to eat more of it, and it's also a preservative. They'll put salt water in chicken and make it way more. You can sell it for more money. Antibiotics can be given to meat animals to make them gain weight faster. Arsenic is given to chicken to decrease intestinal parasites. It also it's also a preservative, makes them look fresher longer on the store shelves. Synthetic nitrates are used as preservatives. And remember, nitrates in meat are different than the nitrates in plants, in the sense that the plant has antioxidants and they help keep it in a nitrate form. NO3, back of your tongue bacteria convert it to nitrite. NO2 goes to your stomach into gastric acid, helps convert it to nitric oxide, NO, and that goes into your blood. It's a vasodilator. Okay, but in animals with the lack of antioxidants, quite often the nitrates and synthetic nitrates, they're converted into nitrosamines and nitrosamines, which are a little bit, carcinogenic. So it's a different thing, and they're used as preservatives in bacon, sausage, lunch meats, beef jerky, hot dogs. Okay. Also, meat cooked at high temperatures increases the production of something called HCAs, heterocyclic amines, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are associated with increased cancer risk. Boiling is a safer way to cook. Meat is associated, it's very often fried, like, fish is often fried, for example. Hamburger is often fried with omega-6 cooking oils. This produces harmful lipid peroxidation products and can eventually lead to toxic aldehydes like hydroxynonenal, HNE. That's the whole Tetsumori Yamashima theory of neurodegeneration and diabetes. Meat is often fried on nonstick cookware, like the POFAs, and you get these fluoride-related chemicals into the food potentially that are toxic, and into the smoke that people can inhale that is toxic. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is, the meat we're talking about in the modern world is not the rural story of the farmer out, doing his own fishing. Anyways, and I'm not, I just am not a fan of meat because it's not healthy. But, I actually am glad people, have meat as an option of food. I think it adds to the safety of the food supply. Okay. Even though I don't eat it because I want to optimize my health.